Ladies and gentlemen, with Jesus' joy, let's join Oluwabusola Sosanya as she pours her heart on her COZA experience. Be blessed.
The first time I slept in my father's house, I was 10 years old. Somehow he had found out where I was going to school, because I lived with my grandmother, and then they never allowed him. Times he would come to the house, he'll bring clothes, he'll bring shoes, he'll bring food, but then they'll throw it away, and then they won't let me even see it. They won't let me talk to him. So then my uncle told him where I'd gone, where I was going to school. So he came that day. They came to get me. I thought it was my auntie. So then I went and I saw it was my father. I'm like, okay. But then he had meat pie and sausage and ice cream. So I followed him. And then Gisman now said, what about your cousins? So we went, took them. When we got home, I thought I was going to get down, but he just told them to go, let them go in, and then we went to his house, met my step siblings and all of that. Prior to that time, I had lived with my grandmother's family friend. They were my family from when I was 2 to when I was 7. In that period, my mom she would call, she would say she was coming. I called her the promise breaker. She said she'll call, she's coming, she didn't come. One day she just came and took me. I was 7 years old. I lived with her and her husband for like 3 months. I think maybe the man could not take it. I ended up in my grandmother's house. So for 3 years I was in my grandmother's house, and then that's when my father came and took me. My mom's name is Bumi, so I'd call the house to talk to her because I wasn't used to where I was, and then she'd pick up the phone and say she wasn't around. I was so full of anger, I didn't even care. Like, I was going to do stuff, I was going to put her name on City People. If it was possible, City People was all the rave then, and just say big banker, one thing. Like, she had made me so hardened, I did not care. I think I was 15, So I went to the house, I didn't talk to her for 2 weeks. I did not care. She was their own greeter. All I know was that I was getting back at her. Do you understand? I think the highest show of love she ever gave me was 30,000 naira. I was 10 years old as my birthday present. People would ask her if she had me, she'll deny and say no. And they'll come back and tell my father's family that Bumi said she wasn't married to you, she doesn't have pussy. One time I was 10 years old and my mother got naked and she begged me. She said, please, don't call me mommy, please. I was confused. I said, okay, that's okay. Auntie Bumi, right, Auntie Bumi. So that's how I lived with my father. I went and lived with my auntie one time. I lived with my father's friend, with another auntie, but then there was nobody to talk to. In my bid to reach to her, I'll write letters, pouring out my heart, but then she will now tell me, why am I your boyfriend? Why are you writing me letters? She will tell me stuff like, I will leave the country for you, leave me alone. One time I ran away from my father's house, like I was going through so much spiritual attacks that it was deep, it was a lot, it was heavy. I couldn't talk to anybody. I couldn't talk to anybody about it. And then I met my boyfriend. I was 22 or so, and then I met him, and then he was everything. His family, they were everything to me. I had a toothache, they would take him to the hospital. His mom, they were like my family. They were the ones, what I did not have, what I always wanted, because I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. My father loved me very much, but I didn't understand. I wanted the person that did not want me, because I'd been longing for her love, acceptance, So I met him, and then he was everything to me. He was a Muslim and I'm a Christian, but he was what I wanted. Like, he was what I needed, what I had craved for my entire life. I'll pray about it and say, God, just change him. I'll have dreams and know you have to leave this boy. He wasn't telling me expressly, but I wasn't just feeling the peace. So after school, I went home. My auntie said that, my mom said to my auntie that she should let me send me out of the house. So I found out, and then I said, that was it, that was done. Earlier, some big shots had approached me. He said he was going to take me up and everything. But then this was not new. My father's friend had asked me out before, told me to just touch him if I wasn't going to sleep with him. That period, I was down. Like, I didn't have money for laptop. I was having exams and school. You cannot go out to type. So I needed a laptop. I needed different things. I went and said to see exams that this is what's happening. My father's friend, in front of church, he picked me up and took me to his house and said that I should just touch him. I'm like, I don't understand. He said, no, I want to marry you. He was 45 or almost 50, so it wasn't new to me, but I said, you know what, whatever, I'm not doing this. So I came to Abuja somehow. My uncle got me a house, rent free, everything paid. That was good. I was happy. Somehow I heard about the Don Juan concerts, and then I came with my friend, my cousin actually. So then it was nice. Everybody was excited. Everybody was happy. I just sat down. Everybody was just jumping. I'm like, how far? So I now decided, you know what, I was going to come the next week. Even my cousin wasn't going to come. So I came. It was Momdi that preached that day. And then I had been struggling with breaking up with him because I did not feel peace. It seemed like it was what I wanted. Everybody was envious of our relationship. He was the best boyfriend or whatever, but there was no peace. So she said something, she preached, and the point of that message was that thing that you're supposed they are struggling with, you better do it. And that was like, I don't understand God. This person that is giving me what I've not gotten how many years now, he's giving me, like, you're telling me to leave him. How is that possible? So I broke up with him. It was crazy. The pastor came and he preached. And then the service, it made some sense to me, So I said, okay, but I'll come the next week. And I came the next week. Then I came the next week. And I came the next week. The word was touching me in different places that I had not. All of my life, I did not know this, but there was no love. I was hurt. I was full of. I'm sorry. There was a lot of bottled up anger. There was hurt. Nobody was there for me. There was, like I said, there's nobody that can stand up and say, oh, I've been there for Busola, or I'm Busola's family. There's nobody, I tell my friends jokingly that God is going to walk me down the aisle, But then, like I said, I was coming to church. Pastor would preach. He would talk to me. The first thing he said, how people say that, oh, there was a word for me. Pastor said, there's a young lady that you've been through so much, then now you want to go and do Aristo, you want to do this, you want to do that. That time, I think I said like in a married man, because he was showing me some care. I was frustrated. So he now came, he now preached. He said that thing. I spoke to a minister, and then he took me to pastor, and I said, Pastor, you just spoke about me, and this is what you said. So from then on, I started listening to what Pastor was saying, and then he made me, even though I had gone through so much, I felt like I'd gone through so much pain, he made me take the focus off myself. Do you understand? Whatever I was going through, there's the message Pastor preached, called to serve. One line that you just wake up at age 70 and realize that you've done nothing with your life. Whenever I'm down, I listen to that message that you say when you're married, you'll be happy. When you have kids, you'll be happy. It was as if there was a word for me every day. One day I came with a list of things. I said, after service, I'm talking to Pastor. Do you know that? Pastor preached about every single thing. And I said, hey, God, do that prayer. He did not say, towards the end of the service, I didn't talk about prayer. I'll talk about prayer. And I said, and prayer. I said, the end. This man is my pastor. Do you understand? Like he made Christianity a reality. Do you understand? You know how it wasn't just about, just singing and worshiping. He made me think about what I was singing. He made me connect with the worship. He made me connect with God. He made me learn to love God. He made me learn to know God. I would pick up my Bible, and it wasn't because I just felt like reading my Bible or just to fulfill all righteousness. I wanted to know. He awakened one kind of hunger in me. I had to know, because and I wasn't focused on myself anymore. There are times that I would for 1 year I didn't have any money in this city, and I didn't have a job. Maybe somebody sent me 5,000 naira. And then I'm like, you know what, I'm going to church. 1,000 naira Tuesday, 1,000 naira Sunday, 1,000 naira, 2,000 naira Sunday. Okay, there's Gary, there's sugar, there's water, no problem. I'll drink Gary, I'm coming to church. As in, I literally felt like church was home. Pastor said something on Tuesday, on Sunday, he said that you feel like you come to this dome, you think I come to this dome. I never felt that way. I felt like every time I came into church and people were saying, I celebrate you, I was coming home. I was coming to listen to my father. My father was speaking through my earthly father. So I was seeing Pastor. There was no familiarity. It was the word of God for me. One time I didn't even have money to buy pure water. at home. I think I had to suck on a lemon. I was that thirsty, but I had to come to church the next week. Like, I had to come and get the food of woman, like the bread of life. Because to me, the food wasn't anything. I had to come to church. I had to come and listen to the word. I had to come to listen to the personification of God's love for me. No matter what had happened, no matter what had happened with my family or whatever, this was, God loved me. God loved me. God cared for me. He was taking care of me. He was teaching me. There was no mother, there was no father, there was no family member. But God was taking his time to teach me step by step, and he was doing it through this pastor, through this man of God, through the choir, through people that will see and say, I celebrate you. And they did not know what he was doing for me, but it was doing such a lot. It was building me up. It was holding me. Sometimes I'll be too weak. I'll be tired. I'll come in this minister. I was hungry to know what do I need to do? What do I need to do? But it was patiently teaching me, and I can say right now that I'm a better person. There's nothing anybody can do to me right now. I just see you as you are a wounded soul, and it's a pity that the devil is using you. You haven't let God deal with you on that issue. That's how the teaching has reached into me. There's nothing. Like, I'm sorry, but the devil has made an enemy out of me. Right now, there's so much peace, there's joy. I work with an energy company right now, and there's so many ideas that I have, and I'm working on them, and I know that because God has never left my side, because God has shown me that he's always with me every step of the way, they are going to come to pass. They're going to be fruitful, and for those that have probably gone through so much, the rejection of the parents, and as Miss came and she talked about how her father had, rejected her, and now she was hurt and angry. I want you to understand that these people, they're not trying to be wicked to you, but it's just that they're wounded souls, and they haven't let God into that part of their lives. So the devil has had the opportunity to use their hurts to hurt you. Do you understand? And the cycle continues. It continues, and then. But I want you to understand that it's not their fault. So try to forgive them. Thank you, Pastor B. You've been beautiful. Even when you don't mean to, you encourage me. Thank you, Mommy D. Your prayers, your prophecy. You speak to me every time. Last week Tuesday, you just spoke to me. I was like, this woman's spot on. Thank you so much. Everybody in COZA, I celebrate you.